Hello there, welcome to my channel. History isn't always boring, sometimes it's completely insane. Here are 7 true historical facts that sound made up. Napoleon was once attacked by a horde of bunnies. The year is 1804. Napoleon decides to organize a rabbit hunt on his estate in the countryside. He and his 2 dogs take off, flesh out a couple of rabbits, then give chase. But then something goes wrong. Napoleon gets separated from his dogs and comes face to face with an entire warren of rabbits. They advance on him, biting and clawing until he can make his escape. He later recounted the experience, writing that it was one of the most terrifying incidents of his life. History.com reports that some believe this humiliating defeat sent Napoleon into a bunny-fueled rage, which may have contributed to the disastrous Battle of Carondelet a few months later. Ancient Romans used crushed mouse brains as toothpaste. Let's just say things were different in the olden times. Instead of hitting the shops for some minty fresh Crest or Colgate, Romans would grind up mouse brains and use them as toothpaste. They either boiled mouse brains with vinegar or ground them into a powder using a mortar and pestle. According to dentist and author Charles R. Smith, this would have been a gruesome task. But someone had to do it. The resulting paste or powder was used as a way to treat bad breath, which was considered a sign of poor hygiene and bad character in Roman culture. But at least it helped keep those pearly whites nice and shiny. A cheese once killed a king. Allow me to introduce you to King Adolf Frederick of Sweden, who sadly passed away in 1771. Not in a battle, not of sickness, but rather from eating too much dessert. As a young man, Frederick was known for his love of good food and drink. And on December 1770, he decided to indulge. After a big dinner, he followed up with a selection of desserts, including several slices of cheese. And beknownst to the king, this particular cheese was old and improperly stored. According to Smithsonian Magazine, scientists now believe that the cheese contained toxins produced by bacteria and a fungus. Either way, after consuming the cheese, Frederick became violently ill and died just a few days later. An autopsy found that the cause of death was inflammation of the stomach and bowels, likely brought on by the cheese. During World War II, the US planned to bomb Japan with bats carrying tiny firebombs. We all know that the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan during World War II. But did you know that before that they considered a much weirder option? During the war, American scientists developed a plan to combat the Japanese forces in the Pacific. The plan involved thousands of little brown bats, which were plentiful in the Philippines. The bats would be fitted with tiny firebombs and then released near Japanese targets. Once the bats found their way into buildings or caves occupied by Japanese soldiers, they would drop the firebombs and burn everything to the ground. This plan never got off the ground, so to speak. Animal rights activists protested the idea, pointing out that using animals as weapons was inhumane. Then the atomic bomb happened and the war was over. Cleopatra lived closer to the invention of the iPhone than to the building of the pyramids. Cleopatra is often associated with ancient Egypt, but how exactly she fits into the country's timeline is a little confusing. Many people picture her as existing around the same time as the Great Pyramid of Giza was built, but that's far from the truth. According to History.com, the pyramids were built around 2550 BC while Cleopatra was born in 69 BC. That means that the pyramids are over 2,000 years older than her. If you think about it, Cleopatra lived closer to the invention of the iPhone than to the building of the pyramids. In 18th century England, people would pay admission for mental hospitals by bringing food or materials for the patients. Lunatic tourism was a thing. Visitors would come to see the patients being treated in these institutions, many of whom were chained to walls. To help keep the patients somewhat comfortable, visitors would bring items such as bread, beer and tobacco. Sometimes they'd even bring cats or dogs for the patients to enjoy. President John Adams had a dog named Satan. You heard that right. When President John Adams moved into the White House in 1801, he brought his molasses-colored bloodhound with him. The dog's name was Satan, and Adams was proud of his pet's unique moniker. He proudly wrote to a friend that his dog, Satan, was the best in the country. We've only just scratched the surface of the weirdest, craziest history has to offer. So stay tuned for more. Which fact surprised you the most? Did you know any of them before watching this video? Let us know in the comments below. And before you go, make sure you hit like and subscribe for more awesome content. Thanks for watching.